Recently I made a video about my thought process behind purchasing an RV, what kind I wanted to get, what my thought process was as to how I ended up deciding on a Class B. A lot of people give their RVs a name, and I decided to call mine Rambler IV, although I haven't got it yet. So this short video is an explanation as to why my first RV is called Rambler IV. Back in the 1960s, when I was a little lad, my parents moved house from London, where I was born, to Pittsburgh in the US, then back to London, and then back to Pittsburgh. We lived there for about 4 years before we moved to Swansea in the UK. During that second trip, my parents bought a Rambler station wagon. Now, I don't have a picture of the actual car we bought, but here's an example. As you can see, it's a very large wagon. And I remember when we went on long trips, my brother and I would sleep in the back, lying down, which of course you can't do today. It was somewhat dangerous, I suppose, but we survived. When we moved to Swansea in 1966, my parents actually had the Rambler shipped across the Atlantic to us. So there we were, living in a mid-sized town in Wales with this massive, monstrous American car, at least by British standards. That was Rambler 1. While we lived in Swansea, we started taking family boat trips, initially on the River Thames. Then we rented a boat on the Norfolk Broads, which are flat in that there's no locks on them. Then we started doing canal trips. And after a while, my parents bought a small boat, which we had moored at Kidderminster. This was about, as I recollect, I don't know, 22 foot fiberglass boat. Could sleep four, so two kids, myself and my brother could sleep in the back. And my younger brother, I don't know if he ever spent a night on it. He might have done, because although I don't have any pictures of the boat itself, I do have this one picture of my brother who had fallen into the canal. Sorry, Chris. So we would take trips on the canal, on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal, on the Shropshire Union Canal, which was very pretty, and we even went as far as going out on the Llangollen Canal to the end of that and back. That was probably, I don't know, I'm guessing that would be about a 2-week trip. Now, I may not be remembering this completely correctly. I felt that my parents did call it Rambler, but possibly they did, possibly they didn't. But anyway, that's my recollection. It's my RV, so I'm going to say that's Rambler 2. Now, in 1974, we moved to London from Swansea, and we sold that boat. But shortly after that, my parents bought another boat. This time it was a small boat, probably about 16, 17 foot, and that was moored and kept on the Grand Union Canal at Uxbridge. So we'd go up and down the Grand Union Canal on that boat, and also go on the Aylesbury Arm. My grandmother lived in Aylesbury, so we actually could drive the boat to her. That was Rambler 3, at least that's my recollection. So those are the first 3 Ramblers. I've got a sneaky feeling that somewhere there was a Rambler 4. I can't remember what that was. One of my brothers didn't think one of the boats was called Rambler anyway. So what the heck, I'm just going to go with that as being the 3 Ramblers. And when I decided to get an RV, it immediately came to my mind that I should call it Rambler 4, so that's what I'm calling it. And that is an explanation of why the RV is going to be called Rambler 4. A couple of other connections to the word Rambler. When we moved to London, I eventually joined, after a year or so, London Orienteering Club, and went to their monthly club meetings. I was the youngest person there at, I think, 17 years old at the time, who went to those meetings, and that was held at the Ramblers Association. And another connection is that, well, partly because I decided to call the RV Rambler 4, I've called my YouTube channel Mike the Rambler. So there's a couple more things to do with Rambler. So that's it. The RV is going to be called Rambler 4 when I eventually get it. And if you've got any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. And if you want to follow along, if I do any more videos, just subscribe to the channel. Bye for now.